I am Aída, and I am the Student Success Librarian. Today, I will be talking about AI and academic integrity, how to navigate ethical challenges. And actually, Dr. Bisotello's presentation was perfect for me to introduce this topic. As you know, AI is a very popular tool, especially ChatGPT, Perplexity, Elicit. Everyone is using it right now, whether they say it or not. Our students are already using it. They have it on their phones, they have the apps, they have it already into Word. And I come across a lot of students that ask me actually when I go into classes if they are allowed to use it. And I'm like, it all depends on your professor. So make sure to tell them it is up to each professor. And also the importance is that these tools can be wonderful, but actually they can come up, we can have ethical dilemmas. And my goal as a librarian and as an educator is to make sure they know the principles of how to use it responsibly, but ethically. So some ethical considerations, as we know, there are bias in AI. So AI models can reflect biases in their training data. Some example is misrepresentation of marginalized groups in search results, and I'm going to show you an example in a little bit. Also, the accuracy of information. Our previous presentations talked about how sure are we are that that information is true, reliable. So I always tell students, please double check. You can use our library databases. If you use ChatGPT to create a list of sources, references, please double check that they exist. And another thing is privacy and data security. AI tools collect information, whether we know it or not. Just as soon as you go into it, it's already has the permission for them to gather. So we try to avoid sharing sensitive information. So actually, I didn't know much about that until about last year. I started using ChatGPT to revise my emails. So sometimes I just type as I write. So I'm like, you know what? Let me try to do ChatGPT, do it more professional. And then as I went back to use it, I realized ChatGPT was actually saving my information. So if I created an email for, let's say, Joseph earlier, and it was about something AI, and I created another email, they use the name of the person that I have used previously, and I'm like, oh no, I'm not going to use names anymore. I'm just going to create the text itself. So that's how I learn. And that's something that I tell students, whether you know or not, they are already gathering your information. So that's something very important to keep in mind. Another big issue is inaccuracies in historical depictions. So actually, a person was using Gemini AI image to create an image of a 1943 German soldier. And this is what Gemini showed. And those images are people of color wearing German. So I know that's a big no-no. So it was very controversial. And Gemini took down that image generation permanently. It's back up, so it's supposed to be working. So we're hoping it doesn't do the thing. But that is a big example that I show our students, like, please do not rely on AI just because you have it, because everyone is using it, it's popular, it's going to save you time, doesn't mean the information is correct. Now, I tell students, this is a great resource as a starting point. If you're not sure where to start, you have a lot of ideas, it is great for you to type it and say, can you please brainstorm keywords? I also tell our upper level classes in the diploma courses, it is great for you to create research questions. So if you don't know how to start your thesis, how to make a research question, you can do that. And you can also ask them to create Boolean operators, which is what we use to do search in our databases. I also tell them if you're going to use it, please cite it. Always say, I use this, I generated this text using ChatGPT, whatever it is, but I also show them how to do it depending if it's on Chicago style, APA, MMA. And again, validate your sources. Just because they made it for you doesn't mean it is correct. Now, regarding academic integrity and AI, I tell them there are plagiarism concerns. They cannot just copy and paste. And actually, I do this activity during class. I tell them, here is a PDF that I shared previously with their instructor. They upload it into Canvas, and I tell them, okay, now you have it into Canvas. Each of you download it and put it on Chat PDF, which is actually like ChatGPT on steroids Word PDFs. So they upload them, and then you can ask the AI to do a summary for me. They do the summary. And then we go around and we compare. Can you please read out loud the summary? They do, and then they realize most of the information is the same. So I'm like, hey, actually, it's good for you to summarize and know what this article is about, but not to just copy and paste it for your research. And another one is we have issues in thinking that they're not going to be using the critical thinking. So we want them to be able to use it for brainstorming, but that does not replace their analytical skills. And also, it is important for us to familiarize ourselves with the university guidelines in AI. And actually, I just added here the name. It's a System Regulation 290105 on AI. I read it, and it basically says it is up to us. It is up to each institution to create guidelines. So, and actually, some librarians here and I are also part of the AI task force in the university, in which we are working in creating guidelines for our students, for staff and faculty. And we're also working in creating templates for assignments. Whether they want to use AI, this is the way that instructors should phrase it, and whether they don't want to. So that's something that is in the works. Hopefully by this semester, we're going to have something that beneficial to send to the AI system. I'm sorry, to the A&M system. And this is another form that I share with my students about the ethical implications of using AI tools. And we go over each of them right now because of the time. I'll go through some of them. I tell them there are ethical implications with validative sources, research misrepresentation, inherent bias issues like the AI image that I showed earlier, plagiarism potential, ethical review and consent, data analysis concerns, dependence risk, miscommunication in public health, and it's very important for our nursing students to know, as well as misinformation risk. And after I go over that chart with them, I break them into groups and I do an in-class activity. I tell them, okay, now it's going to be your turn to review resources. So I give them 3 different scenarios. For instance, scenario 1 is AI in academic writing. I tell them, let's pretend that you are writing a lead review for your dissertation. You find an AI tool that you can use to help you with your paper. What are the ethical considerations? So that starts that process of that critical thinking. The other scenario is AI in data analysis. This is very good for research students, math students, engineering, because they're working with a lot of data sets. So I tell them, let's pretend you're working with a data set that has some missing values. An AI tool can help you create these values, but what are the ethical implications? Is that information true? Did they just made up the numbers? So they need to ensure the validity and reliability of the research findings. Another scenario is AI in visual content. This comes in the picture. They can just create anything they want. So I tell them, you want to create visual representations of your research findings using AI. So what ethical issues might arise from using AI images? And how can you address this one? That is something important to keep in mind. Another practical tips for everyone, staff, faculty, students, is to be aware that they can ask specific questions. For instance, refine prompts to get more relevant and useful results. If they need help, they can always ask ChatGPT, how can I ask a better question? Also, to evaluate the credibility, I show them how to search in the library database. So let's say if they use ChatGPT to create a reference list, I tell them, please copy and paste the titles. And then they realize, oh, this author doesn't exist. The article exists. The article is out there, but it's not by the author that ChatGPT told me. And another thing I tell them is collaborate with librarians. We can be your best friends. We're always happy to help, so come to us. And last is you can scan this QR code on your phone. This is the Using AI Tools Research Guide that we have for our students. And this is where I made a list of all the resources that we're using. And it also covers Magic AI, Magic School, AI, Perplexity, and the ethical implications. And here's my email. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. It is aida.almanza@texas.edu. Thank you.